Wow. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning, everybody. Thank you very much. I'll just start out by saying, how about them Ravens? Yeah. Man, that was great. Great game. I stayed up late last night, too, so hopefully I won't screw up my remarks. But I was pretty excited to be watching that game. So thank you very much, Mr. Secretary. I want to thank all of our hardworking state employees who joined us this morning for this exciting announcement that we have. We're here today to announce some exciting news on a long-awaited, transformative project for Baltimore City that we have been committed to and pushing hard for since day one of my administration. A strong Maryland depends on a strong Baltimore City, which is why our entire administration has been fighting for change here. Through Project CORE, we have invested in the removal of more than 4,000 blighted buildings, and we have leveraged $1.8 billion in private and public investment for community redevelopment projects. We're pushing for tough anti-violent crime legislation to help get dangerous, repeat violent offenders off the streets. We've committed more than $6 billion in direct aid to Baltimore City, provided over $1 billion for public safety and crime control efforts, invested nearly $4.2 billion in Baltimore City transportation projects, and an historic $4.7 billion to K-12 education in Baltimore City. No governor in the history of Maryland has ever invested more in the city of Baltimore. Now today, we are finally able to take another important step in the revitalization of Baltimore City. After more than 15 years of inaction, obstruction, and failure, we are finally able to move forward on the redevelopment of the State Center project. Soon after I became governor in 2015, I committed to making the redevelopment of the State Center project a top priority of our administration. Unfortunately, the previous administration had gotten the state mixed up in a disastrous failed deal which never made any progress at all, which was economically infeasible and legally improper. This imaginary potential deal was predicated on absurd proposed capital leases at 3 times the market rate, which were not only never entered into by the state, but which had in fact been unanimously rejected by the Board of Public Works. In spite of that, we have had to waste years trying to extricate the state from this failed deal with these developers. Our repeated efforts to get this project moving for the citizens of Baltimore have been delayed over and over again by a group of developers and lawyers motivated by greed who have been seeking to extort state taxpayers to pay an outrageous sum of money for a deal which never materialized, never made any economic sense, and which was never going to happen. Attorney General Frosh and his team have been working tirelessly to free the state from this obstruction. While waiting for the lawsuits to make their way through the courts, we continued to move forward with the steps that we were able to take. Last June, I directed the Department of General Services to do a solicitation for what they call an EOI, an expression of interest, seeking potential master developers for the redevelopment of State Center. In August of last year, we were pleased to have received numerous very strong expressions of interest. The Attorney General's office has recently advised us that we are now free to take the next steps, and I am happy to be announcing today that effective immediately, we will move forward with the next two steps by issuing the RFI, the request for information, and RFP, request for proposals, to expedite an agreement in order to achieve a bold, transformative redevelopment of the State Center project. I am today authorizing the Maryland Stadium Authority to lead this process in coordination with the Maryland Department of General Services. Currently, 3,300 state employees in 12 different agencies work within the aging buildings here at the State Center complex. We will start the process of relocation in various phases so that we can begin the demolition of some of these older buildings to allow for the redevelopment of the project. Maryland Department of Labor and its 744 employees, currently occupying 140,000 square feet in the Utah building, will be the first agency to relocate from State Center. All executive agencies and the jobs associated with them that are currently in the State Center buildings will remain in Baltimore City. And the plan is to move the 12 agencies and the 3,300 state employees to areas in and around the Central Business District, which will absorb and occupy more than 1 million square feet of office space, and which will be a dramatic boost to help stabilize downtown Baltimore. The proximity of the State Center site to premier institutions, including the University of Baltimore and MICA, and vibrant communities like Bolton Hill, as well as its accessibility to transit options, make this an ideal and attractive location for redevelopment and investment. And we will work closely with the community and with the city to ensure that the redevelopment of this site addresses the priorities of the local citizens, including not just new employment opportunities, but also additional affordable housing units, community amenities, including a much-needed grocery store and other retail options, which the community has asked for, with the goal to make this a better place to live, work, and play. The redevelopment of State Center and the addition of 1 million square feet in downtown Baltimore will both go a long way toward the revitalization and transformation of this city. And they are just one more way that we are changing Maryland for the better. Thank you very much. Thank you for being here this morning. And with that, some of our friends in the media I see are back there, and we'd be happy to take a few questions from them. Luke?
Governor, are you concerned at all that you might start moving forward with a new developer and the old developer, big court, bring some legal trouble?
No, the